Hello, this is the Harvard Night. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So feedback is greatly important. Feel free to reach out to me either through email, which is the best way, any other sources provided. Alright, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on, I'm Speaker of Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. These are just to name a few. Alright, so this episode is centered around music. And this time, I am going to, and I'm going to continue this out on Wednesday. I'm going to talk about music that centers around the sea life. Here we go. Alright, so the song is I'm on a Boat by The Lonely Island. And on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about Sailing. The song Sailing by Christopher Cross. Alright, so before I get into all of the facts about I'm on a Boat, I'm going to give my perspective about Andy Samberg, that type of humor in SNL. So, I personally think that SNL was at its peak, was at its best, when I was really starting to understand, was really, really young, little kid growing up watching it by around which is interesting enough, with Adam Sandler and Chris Kattan, and, you got Chris Farley, you got heavy hitters like that. And all of those guys. And so they brought a really unique perspective about the aspects of comedy, especially at the time. And Adam Sandberg, him and his crew, was supposed to be the next generation, particularly with Adam Sandberg, he was supposed to be the next Adam Sandler. Which is one of those things where equated to you can't really create lightning twice in a bottle, in which I think is the downfall a lot to SNL. Not on top of I'll get to that with the political aspects of it, but it's just, which is a repetitive realm in what's going on with entertainment, particularly comedy, but entertainment in general, where you're not trying new things, taking the risk and seeing what works, what doesn't work. And, to add on to that, before then, with it, and then, when it started out in the 70s with all of those guys, Bill Murray, you got Gilda Radner, you got, the list goes on. And even though he left, he was really good with, I can see his face, but he was in Christmas Vacation, all those. And then recently enough with Community, Chevy Chase, all those people. And Jane Curtin, all those people, Garrett Morris, all those people. Now, they all in themselves was really a reality of humor. They were, and then you can't forget, too, with the Dan Aykroyd, and then with the Blues Brothers, and then also, interesting enough, with everything that came out of that. they were creating something quite different with, and then with Belushi too. They were being gritty and honest with the aspects of the humor that they were depicting. And so, as time went on, it started to lose that touch. And then music was a huge part of the aspects of SNL. Why personally, you know, on to middle school time, on to my high school years. So when music, and then it's still a part of it, but it was really prevalent, a huge heavy hitter to captivating people's attention. And then there was a documentary about SNL, and it's on Peacock, and it's centered around specifically with the musical impact that SNL has had on culture. And, and mainstream aspects of bringing attention to the importance and the value that music has on society. And so, going back, when the 90s was the 70s, was a time where it was so many different aspects of experimenting with sound, and then, especially with New York being the bedrock of where people, you will equate that to before then, with the classical era. Well, just like with classical music, it was Vienna was the place to go, and on down the list, when the 20s, 30s, hey, you got the coming of jazz, and in New York, and it's the sound town, and then in the 60s and so forth, Detroit, the sound of Motown, and then you get into the 70s and 80s, reverting back to, New York really became its own and never really changed its identity. But it was just, dispersed out a lot of musical sound in America. And so, 80s, you go to LA, the LA sound, especially with glam music and glam rock and all of that. And so, yeah, it was apropos, especially SNL coming on the scene in the 70s, and for music to go along with, being a complement to all of that. And so going back to the 90s, and so, it was flourishing even more so with the aspects of music, particularly with pop, rock, and rap, and everything else. And how that transitions to, me becoming as a preteen, teen, early 2000s, that's when it started getting to the aspects of things becoming more and more apparent that we're going and moving towards the digital age. And then, when I was starting high school, getting into the aspects of things YouTube becoming, in its first generation, becoming its own, and stuff becoming more and more popular, and stuff becoming viral. And so this is how Adam Sandberg, him and his comedy act became notable, because if I'm not mistaken, he got to start out on YouTube. A talent scout, somebody saw him and all that, but there's some theories that he was already signed, and they were just saying that he was on YouTube to ride the mystique of the aspects of that's how relevant that is to be discovered on the internet. And so a song like I'm on a Boat, goes with the aspects, of something that's very catchy and viral to where it translates to becoming a meme. And so, he really crafting and trying to get into the aspects of nerd comedy culture, right? And so, Adam Sandler, he was really, him in itself was interesting enough. Had a very strong background in music, and he wanted to cultivate the aspects of how popular music at the time, the MTV generation, how that translates to the aspects of humor. And he really created his own with that. And so, it's one of those things interesting enough when a movie like That's My Boy, so they had to dilute Adam Sandberg because, with the aspects of you can't reinvent that wheel, because Adam Sandler's is just not going to work. And so it's just quite interesting how this song really, I'm on a boat, really took on a new meaning about the aspects of music in a digital age. And then when you get into the arena of the aspects of, particularly at the time, when I was growing up, when you get in the early 2000s and before then, in the mid 90s, it's quite popular with the aspects of yacht life, and then rappers were really making that, with making that a unique parody in itself. When you get scantily clad women, and then, I'm on up, pretty much, I'm sure that's what the whole, how that came into grandeur. With I'm on a boat, it's just apropos. Like, I'm on a boat, look at what I can do. With my access, look at me. And then T-Pain was just that icing on top there, with, really reining that in with the aspects of the ludicrous, and, pun intended, but the ludicrocracy, making up a new word, which is, mumble, what some rappers like to do, with how, extravagant the aspects of it, of the humor behind the song. And interesting enough, the documentary, as I was mentioning, about SNL, Justin Timberlake, it was around, 2002 or 2003, 2004, one of those times, around that time, right? And that was the time when they said that they were doing a Christmas special, and they wanted to bring in pretty much youth attention to their audience sector with SNL, because they saw the writing on the wall, which is unfortunate with that, that it is sloping down with the audience attention. And so Justin Timberlake was a guest on there, and he said, and they were asking him to do something different. And then it's quite funny. Justin Timberlake said when he was growing up, he saw, particularly at the time in the early 90s, throughout the 90s, R&B artists were they're soulful in their sound, and they were crooning in their sound, but they were very sexualized at the same time. And so he found a lot of humor in that, and so that's how they created My You Know What in the Box and all that, and it just spiraled to I'm on a Boat. And so you can see how that kind of parodies really just went like wildfire with the aspects of something becoming viral, because these things that are very familiar to a massive amount of people, because Someone who knows someone who knows someone, they, if you don't, not a particular fan of R&B music from the 90s, it's notable. And so I can see how Adam Sandberg's humor really translates quite well. But on the other aspects of it, it's one of those things. Keep milking it, as it all turned and became successful. You keep milking it and churning the same thing. It's one of those things. You had an interesting concept, but try to translate it to something different. It's always good. I say that time and time again. And, what's wrong with trying something different? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Learn from it and move on. But, it's one of those things where if it ain't broke, keep doing it. So, with all this said, I'm going to get into the rest of the aspects about this song. Well, facts about this song. Here we go. All right, so here is wrapping up everything. Here are the facts about I'm on the Boat. So, of course, the source will be provided for you, and it's by dictionary.com. So, I'm on a boat. What does I'm on a boat mean? I'm on a Boat is a viral comedy rap song and a video about the joys of boating. People allude to the song by saying I'm on a boat when on boats. And, again, with the aspects of meme culture. The hit single I'm on a Boat was released by the Lonely Island Boys on February 3rd of 2009. And it premiered on NBC's Saturday Night Live as a Saturday Night Live digital short on February of 2009. Or February 9th, that is, of 2009. It features comedians Andy Samberg, forgive me for the pronunciation of his first name, Abaki Schaefer, and Jorman Tacon, alongside T-Pain, performing on the boat. The digital short depicts Sandberg and company as they bask in the luxury of a 221-foot-long mega yacht. Much of the song's lyrics are bombastic and profane, and there are observations about being on a boat. Again, with the accents of, access life, particularly with the rap culture. It's all about access, wine, woman, debauchery, having a good time, And that was very, very much so prolific and expelled in so many different songs, even pop songs, going about 5+ years on and 10+ years on the 90s, but particularly in the early 2000s when you get so many different, like Ja Rule, and list goes on, Ludacris, Jay-Z, of course, people like that. And then even, pop stars, you have the late and great Aaliyah, you have a song where rock the boat, and that is, a euphemism for, sexual connotations there. But, they're on the boat, and it was just a whole lot of depictions of that in that era. So, it says, with I'm on a boat, such as I'm on a boat with a mother effer taking a look at me. Said straight flowing on a boat on the deep blue sea. So the song and video are meant in part to parody the, rap culture. As I said, making fun of that by entertaining that at the same time. It's one of those things. All right, so I'm on a Boat became the #1 video on YouTube and the iTunes video chart shortly after it was released. It received a nomination for Best Rap Song and collaboration at the 52nd Grammy Awards. All right, so who uses I'm on a Boat? People often hilariously allude to the song by declaring in speech or text I'm on a boat when actually on seafarer vessels. The phrase is typically proclaimed in a loud or obnoxious manner, similarly to Adam Sandberg's delivery in the music video. And it is often meant to express how being on a boat is a special experience. And going on April 9th of 2016, Elon Musk, SpaceX successfully launched their Falcon 9 rocket on a drone ship floating in the ocean. Shortly after, Musk tweeted and just as quickly deleted a video of launching "I'm on a boat" playing in the background. All right, so I'd like to know what you all think. Feel free to reach out to me. So this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. Bye-bye for now.
Hi, Mommy.